presentation is on Marco Polo by Brianna, Aaron, and Noah.
Marco Polo is one of the most famous explorers during his lifetime. He was born and raised in Venice, Italy in the year 1254 and died in the year 1324. He was a very wealthy man and he practiced the religion Catholicism. He was an Italian merchant and all of his travels are recorded in the Book of the Marvels of the World. He traveled further than anyone else who trained in lifetime. He was one of the first Europeans to travel to far new places and learn new customs. Everything we know about him has come from his own texts. When Marco Polo was born, he lived with his extended family because his mother died when he was very young, and his dad and uncle were traveling the world. After 15 long years, Marco finally met his dad and uncle when they returned from training. 2 years after that, they set out again on a long journey, but this time taking Marco with them. They were going on the Mongol court, but shortly after they left, they learned that their friend back home got elected pope, so they went back to the two fires and proper credentials before leaving again.
He started off by traveling to the Mongol court. He and his dad and uncle then went to Aix. They proceeded to go to these places in order: Erzurum, Tabriz, and then crossed deserts before reaching Hormuz. Then instead of going by boat across the Persian Sea, they went by foot to India, traveling through the deserts of surpassing avidity to Badakhshan to Pamir, descending towards China. By this time, they were on the main Silk Road, and after about 17 years in China, they started making their way back to the Mongol court.
Marco tried to make more money and moved to the Bokhara for 3 years of training. Marco and his brother were both merchants and traded mostly in the East, including China. He was a very famous Silk Road traveler who had success almost everywhere he went. Traveling west, Marco had to travel the Red Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and across the land with mountains. This is very hard because of the challenges he faced. He was very successful merchant and explorer. He sailed for weeks, months, and years on the open sea, which caused seasickness, famine, and diseases. He also went across land and had to cut through harsh and mostly dangerous territories like deserts. Because of the traveling on land, he came across bandits as well as other enemies along the way. At one point, when he was trying to cross what is now known as Afghanistan, he got really sick and couldn't travel for about a year until he got better. Marco Polo had a big influence on European cartography. This then helped Europeans explore and understand the world better. Fra Maru and other cartographers were influenced by Cathay, Marco Polo's map of the world. Christopher Columbus was inspired by Marco when he set across the sea. He brought back with him a book and a map by Marco Polo. Marco and his brother both met Kublai Khan when the king asked the two brothers about their religion and their homeland. Kublai had respect for both brothers and gave them free access to their kingdom and supplies with a golden tablet. The Polo brothers helped send the message to the Pope in Venice. After the message, the brothers returned with the Pope's gift to Kublai Khan. Kublai Khan and Marco Polo became friends, so Kublai Khan let Marco Polo go on other missions for him. Over the course of his adventures, his clothes and equipment changed. He started in European clothes but ended in Inter-Asian garments to fit the climate that was found there. His equipment also changed as his journey progressed. He started with caravans crossing through Persia, then as he reached the Himalayas, he changed over to pack animals such as camels. On his returning journey, he used a Chinese boat and a Chinese compass, which was a lot more accurate than that of the European counterpart. When Marco Polo learned that a Mongol princess was to be sent to Italy, Marco decided that this was the time to leave because not only did he miss his home to the Chinese emperor was getting old and he didn't want to be stuck there if he died. He and his dad and his uncle accompanied the princess on her journey overseas. About 2 years. Unfortunately, the 600 people on the ship died before they reached land. They came across bandits and strayed from their path a lot. When they finally got home, they learned that the prince and the princess was forced to marry had died, so she ended up marrying his brother. When they returned home to Venice, Italy, nobody recognized him or his dad and his uncle, and he had a hard time speaking Italian. After his return to Europe, he began a long, hard transition back to European life. After spending over 20 years in the Far East speaking Mongolian and giving different courtesies, he lived well, but after his return, the state illegally took 3/4 of his fortune gained in the Far East. Upon his return, he joined the Venice Navy, which was at war with the Genoans. He became an officer, but was captured by the Genoans and imprisoned as a prisoner of war, along with everyone else aboard the ship. Marco was captured by the Genoese Navy and held prisoner of war. He was in a cell with Rustichello, a fable writer. Over the course of their 1 to 2 year stay, Marco told stories of his adventure to China, and Rustichello wrote each word to create his narrative. However, due to the exceptional amount of detail and the unimaginable occurrences, many people only believed that this book was fiction. After being released from the Genoan prison, he printed his book, but no one believed that it was true. Since the printers were a big man, he gained no profits from his book, but it was a high demand to have. He was asked throughout his years later whether or not the story was true, and when he answered yes, very few believed him. Not until after his death did people learn that his experience throughout digesting the material and going east themselves, as he reached his deathbed around 1320, people began to ask him if he truly did go on the adventures, and he responded saying, "I have not told half of what I saw." He died in Venice, January 8, 1324.
Finished.